In today's video, we are going to be making Kiwi Popsicle. Grab your mouse, we dive in. First and foremost, we are going to create a new document. Choose a solid color. With a solid color in place, let's grab our asset. So we are going to copy this texture. This texture right here, Ctrl C to copy. Ctrl V to paste. We right click and convert to smart object, Ctrl T. And we are scaling it up. Then we click the check mark to confirm. Then we are going to set the blend mode to soft light and reduce the opacity. Now we are going to create a new layer right here. Grab a software brush. So we copy this hex code. We are setting the foreground to this hex code right here. So we have it right here. Then we are going to set opacity to 100. Increase the brush size by the right bracket key. So we press the right bracket key on the keyboard to make the brush bigger. Then we click once. Now we are going to create an exposure adjustment layer. With the mask selected, we grab a software brush. Foreground is set to black. Opacity is set to 100. We make the brush bigger by the right bracket key. Then we make a few clicks. Now we are going to set the blend mode to multiply. So let's grab this popsicle right here. Ctrl C to copy, Ctrl V to paste. Let's grab the stick. So we're going to drop the layer. Let's grab the text. With these two layers selected, we are going to press Ctrl J to make a copy. With the copy selected, we press Ctrl G to make a group. Now we have the group right here. We are going to drop the layer. Right click and convert to smart object. And we are going to put this off and save it for later. Now we are going to be applying some shadows and highlight. So with this layer selected, we are going to create an exposure adjustment layer clipped onto the layer so the effect applies only to the layer. With the mask selected, Ctrl I to invert. So we are going to be painting some shadows, but before that we are going to grab the pen tool and create a selection. So we zoom in and we are just going to create a selection this way. So right from here, so once we join the point, we right click and we are going to make a selection. Once we have our selection, we are going to grab the software brush. The marks need to be selected. The marks right here need to be selected. So we are going to set our foreground to white. Reduce the brush size. Right click and reduce the brush size. We reduce the opacity as well. And we are going to be painting some shadows. So we are just going to be adjusting the opacity, painting some shadows. In case it is too much, we swap foreground to black and we are just going to erase. So we swap foreground to black and we are just going to erase because that's obviously too much. We swap to white and we are going to paint more shadows. Ctrl D to deselect. I know this is not in shape, but stay with me. We are going to work on this. With the mask selected, we are going to swap foreground to black, reduce the opacity, and we are just going to erase. So we are just going to erase this way. So we go to select and reselect the selection. And we are going to paint some shadows right here. Then we are going to create another exposure adjustment layer, clipped onto the layer. With the mask selected, Ctrl I to invert. We grab a soft town brush. We need to set the foreground to white before we can paint. We set foreground to white and I'm just going to paint some shadows. I'm going to create another exposure adjustment layer. With the mask selected, Ctrl I to invert. We grab a soft town brush and we are just going to paint more shadows. You guys can do this, so I'm going to be speeding up this part. In case you are wondering how I made this popsicle, once I have it stored like that, then I create a popsicle shape, place this in the middle, and that's it. You just need to spend more time and overlay it until it forms a good shape and you can create a popsicle out of it. Now let's grab this item. Ctrl C to copy, Ctrl V to paste. We are going to drop it. You right click and create clipping marks. We are just going to position it, make it smaller. We extend it a bit. With the layer selected, we are going to set the blend mode to linear dodge. Reduce the opacity. With the layer selected, we are going to create a mask. Grab a soft town brush and we are just going to be erasing this part. We are just going to erase this part. Ctrl J to make a copy. You grab the move tool and we are just going to position it right here. Right click and create a clipping mask. With the mask selected, we grab a soft town brush and we are just going to erase. Ctrl J to make another copy. We drop it. Then we position it. We select the mask and we are just going to erase. Now we are going to reduce the opacity for all these ones. So with this layer selected, we are going to take down the opacity. So let's grab this item and position it right here. We drop it right here. Right click and create a clipping mask. So with the layer selected, we are going to set blend mode to multiply. Ctrl J to make a copy. Right click and create a clipping mask. Then we are going to create a levels adjustment layer. Clip it onto the layer. Then we have it this way. Now we need the eyes in position. So we copy. We are dropping it. We are taking it just after the popsicle right here. So we create a mask. Then we press Ctrl I to invert. We grab a soften brush and we are going to be painting some of the smoke back. We have it this way. So we are just going to be painting some back. We reduce the opacity. We are going to create a curves adjustment layer. With this layer in place, we are going to bring it back. Create an exposure adjustment layer. Clipped onto the layer. With the layer selected, Ctrl T. We are just going to distort. Sorry, Ctrl Z to undo. So we hold the middle of the node and we are going to distort that. Then we have it right here. So we are going to be creating some shadow right here. With the layer selected, we create a mask. We grab the gradient tool. Then we are going to set foreground to black. And we are just going to drag to erase. With the layer selected, we are going to apply Gaussian blur. So filter, blur, and we are going to set radius at 6. We take down the opacity. We are going to create a new layer. Grab a soften brush. So we are going to set foreground to white. Set opacity to 100. We are going to click once. Then we are going to set the blend mode to overlay, to soft light, sorry. Ctrl J to make a copy. Then we're going to set the blend mode to overlay and reduce the opacity. So let's copy the particles layer, this layer right here, and position it right here. So we are going to make that bigger. With the layer in place, we are going to set the blend mode to screen. Then we are going to create a hue and saturation adjustment layer clipped onto the layer. We check colorize. Then we are just going to match the color to get that greenish color. With the layer selected, we are going to create a mask. With the mask selected, Ctrl I to invert. We grab a soft tone brush. We take down the opacity. We set foreground to white. And we are just going to paint some back. Once you have everything in place, we are just going to press Ctrl Alt Shift E to merge all layers. We right click and convert to smart object. Then we are going to apply camera raw, so filter, camera raw filter. So actually we are just going to be playing with this until we like the outcome, then we hit OK. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope to see you in the next one. Till next time, stay creative.